Howdy, howdy, hi there, it's Mimi. Today, the People on the Block episode, we were going to interview Scotty from Neon Cowboy. How excited! Where did the idea for Neon Cowboy come from?
The idea for calling it Neon Cowboy came from, I made a neon sign for a friend of mine whose wife owned a tattoo shop, and I made the sign for them, and then he was in the circus, the Jim Rose Sideshow Circus, the guy with all the puzzle pieces tattooed all over him, and he was like, oh, can you make me a neon sword? So then I made him a neon sword, and then he was like, do you want to be in the circus? And I was like, what am I going to do in the circus? He's like, you could be Neon Cowboy. And so that's where the whole persona of Neon Cowboy started. Was I started making a costume that was made out of neon. So I had a Neon Cowboy hat, I put neon in my ears, I had a neon sheriff's badge, and then I had neon gauntlets on my arms.
Could you talk about the process from start to finished?
Well, if a client has a design, or even if they don't have a design, I try and help them with their ideas. Tell them, okay, well, what do you want your sign to convey, or what elements do you want in your sign? And then once we come up with a design, we put that in a computer, or I put it on a transparency, project it on a wall with an overhead projector, and then hand draw it, trace it with a pencil or a Sharpie. And then once that's done, we make a paper pattern. And so like this is in reverse, because all neon, whatever's flat on the table is what you see. Whatever's up in the air, like connections between letters, you don't want to see that. So that's all up in the air. And then once it's bent, it gets you get straight tubes of glass. These are electrodes. These get one on each end. Well, actually, these get one on each end. One's got a tube on it, and one's not. This is what connects it to a manifold. That's in another shop. But it gets connected to a manifold. It gets evacuated of air, and then it gets hit with like 27,000 volts of electricity. It cleans the inside of the glass and vaporizes everything, and then you suck all that out, let it cool off a little bit, then expose it to gas, either neon or argon, and then fill it, heat this, seals it off, and then you have your neon, your neon unit. And then you block out with paint where you don't want to see anything. That's basically neon.
Basically,
yeah.
that's
then there's that's basically how you make a piece of neon. And then there's like installation where you cut a backing, you have tube supports, you got boots, you got wiring, all that stuff.
So what makes it you unique or different than others?
From my neon to other people's neon, I mean most people that do neon are pretty good at doing neon. There's not many people who do it poorly because you'd never last. It has to almost all be perfect, or you can't sell it.
How long would it last?
The first neon ever brought to America still lit up for Packard cars. And also they just found in LA, they were tearing down a restaurant, they pulled down a board, and there was a piece of neon behind the board that's been lit up since probably 1922. As long as the glass doesn't break and the electrodes, the only thing that fails is like this little piece of metal in there eventually fails. But other than that, if it doesn't break, it'll last technically forever.
So I noticed the quality of the products after COVID has been changed. How about you?
For us, the big changes were the formulas for doing the colors. Like the new green is not that green. It's not a very good color, but it's all we got. So then we just have to deal with it. And then also some colors, the formula changed to where the glass is cracking after you heat it, and it cools down again because something with the phosphor where it's not cooling at the same rate as the glass, and it creates stress, and then it cracks. And I've had to go, I did a whole job in this one glass, and it all cracked, so I had to get new glass and start over again. And there's not really any testing facility where they can figure out if it's good or not, so we're basically the guinea pigs.
So direct. You're the one who gives
Yeah,
them
we figure it out, and we tell them, oh, this is terrible. But at the same time, I got customers that want their jobs done. They don't care if the phosphor is bad or the glass is bad. They just want their sign. So we get to deal with a lot of that. A lot of yelling.
So you take the good and the bad.
Yeah.
Direct.
Yeah, I just do the best. Luckily, I've been able to buy out some other shops that went out of business, so I do have a decent stock of glass. I don't have to buy that much when I need some. But some colors I just have to buy, and I just have to deal with whatever the supply houses have.
Do other arts, which such as sculptures?
Yeah, I mean, I started off, my mom was a stained glass artist and also a painter. And so that's how I got started. I started off as a watercolor painter and then got into sculpture, did a lot of metal, lost wax, sand casting, bronze, iron, and then because there wasn't any schools that were teaching neon that I knew about. There were schools, I just didn't know about them. And plus also the schools, neon's a lot of practice. I could teach probably someone everything I know in 2 weeks, but it would take you 10,000 hours to get good at it. It's just repetition over and over and over again that makes you good at it. But I don't even know what I'm talking about.
It's okay. Like when you were younger, you learned arts from your mom?
Yeah. Stained glass I learned from my mom. And then, I don't know if it was just a glass thing, I just like glass as a medium. And the fact that neon lights up, it can be art, and it could be, they're light bulbs. Like that whole shelf over there is neon signs that got taken apart. And I didn't want to throw them out because I'm not throwing away neon, because at base they still light up, so they're still light bulbs. I'm not throwing away light bulbs. So sometimes I'll even have someone come in, a buddy come in, he had a fish tank, a little 5-gallon fish tank, we put some AstroTurf in the bottom, and then we just filled it up with random neon, lit it all up, and he just put it on a shelf, and he made himself a little night light. I go, does it look cool? He goes, I don't care, it lights up. I need something to light up my room.
Today's episode is brought to you in part by our friends over at Love Thai Cuisine. Love Thai Cuisine is an amazing restaurant that offers both lunch and dinner options for Austinites, out-of-towners, and picky foodies. It's a culinary experience that comes right out of Thailand. Love Thai Cuisine presents to you the true spirit of Thai dining, street food, and also modern interpretations. The cuisine is designed to be a culinary and authentic celebration of the foods of Thailand. If you're hungry for pad thai, golden noodles, khao soi, Penang curry, rice balls, you can wash it down with some delicious Thai tea. Love Thai Cuisine, conveniently located in South Austin on Brody Lane. Love Thai Cuisine, because everyone needs love.
Is Austin has been supporting you for
Oh
your
yeah,
business?
Austin loves neon. I don't know if when you drive around Austin, if you just drive around, you can tell that Austin loves neon. There's giant shops here that make a lot of money. And some of the shops I'll do their overflow if they have too much or they can't handle all the neon. I'll get some of their neon. And I do a lot of that.
So, how did you fall in love with neon?
I guess if I had to do it today, I don't know if I would, because I don't think I have the patience. It takes a lot of patience to learn it, and it's all frustrating. Everything you do for the first probably month is going to be garbage, and you have to be able to push through that. The only way you get good at something is by being bad at it first. And I just got lucky because I had to get good at it, or I wasn't going to be able to pay rent. So, but I was young. I was in my late 20s when I learned it. Well, when I went to Pilchuck, I was 18. And then I just worked at various shops, mostly doing like the processing of the glass. Like someone else would bend it, and then I would take it and fill it with gas. They call it bombarding. I'd fill it with gas, bombard it, fill it with gas, block it out with paint, do the assembly. That's what they would let me do, because that you can learn fairly quickly. The bending part takes 10 times longer, 1,000 times longer, because it's just, you have to be able to make your hands do something. You're trying to manipulate something with fire that you can't get your hands close to, because your hands are out here, the fire's right here, but my hands are out here. And I'm trying to manipulate something here. It's not like, it's different than metal or wood. Also, if you get going on, you start making something, and then you make a mistake, most of the time there's no fixing mistakes. You just throw it out, start over. Yeah, which really stinks if you're right at the end of something, and then you have to just throw it out and start over. But it's also because I'm good at it, I guess. That's why I love it. It's one of the few things I am really good at, so do the thing you're good at.
So, how do you like Austin and Texas?
I started coming to Austin in the late 80s because I had a friend that lived here that I was roommates with in college, and we came down here for his wedding for like a week, and I just loved Austin. I loved the vibe. It was also during the spring, so I didn't know what the summers were like yet. And I just like. I mean, the late 80s, early 90s, Austin was really, really cool. It was before it became a huge, giant city that it is now. It was, you know, easy to travel, no traffic. Everyone was super cool. Everywhere was cheap as hell. That's when emos was free. And actually, I did the emo sign, the emo's neon sign. And when I did it, I asked the guy. I go, look, I'll give you a good deal on the sign, but I never ever want to pay to get in here again. He goes, done. So for 12 or 15 years, I would just go to emos every day. Well, maybe 5 days a week, and just see a million bands because I could get in there for free.
That's the plus.
Yeah.
And what was the memorable sign once in a lifetime that you
I've done a lot of pretty cool stuff. I've done stuff for some famous people. I don't even know if I'm allowed to say their names or whatever, but yeah, done a bunch of stuff for famous people in their houses or whatever, their shows or stuff. Sometimes you do neon for other people who are neon artists, but they don't actually make their own neon. And I've done stuff for them too. Yeah, I don't know.
have you been to Japan?
No.
They will love you. They would love to have you.
I know. I would just like to go to Asia. I've been in North Africa. I've been all over. I've been a little in the Middle East. I've been all over Europe, in Eastern Europe. I've seen a lot of the States. I was in the circus for a while, so I got to travel. I got to travel around in the circus. That's how Neon Cowboy started. I was the Neon Cowboy in the circus, and I would do things like lift people up with my teeth, or like people shoot blowgun darts at my ass, or do a chains and handcuffs escape. And then after that, that's when I became Neon Cowboy, the shop.
So how did you get into the circus?
That was just because I made neon for a guy. I made neon swords so the guy could swallow neon swords. And then he wanted to do his own thing. He goes, hey, why don't you just join the circus? You could be the Neon Cowboy. And I said, okay.
Yeah, that's
just
how
packed
it
threw my
started.
shit in a storage facility and then went in the circus. And we drove around in a blue van for about a year.
You knew him from Austin?
He was, yeah. There's a lot of freaks in Austin. The Lizard Man lives here. Mr. Lifto lives here. Leopard Larry used to live here. The Enigma and Katzen used to live here. I think because it's nice weather. I mean, Austin's grown. It's a small, big city now, but it used to be kind of a small city, you know, big town. And so a lot of people just like to live here. It was before the summers were incredibly brutal, and just and it's kind of central in America, so you can kind of still get to anywhere for fairly cheap by plane. I think that's why a lot of people.
For the audience who's new to Austin, they have no idea.
Yeah, and even if they come here now, a lot of those things are gone. That's the only thing that sucks is when you got too much new stuff. Eventually they got to just tear down the old stuff.
What do you miss the most?
Tamale House on Airport,
There you go.
the Migas.
Yeah.
That's what I
The
miss.
food scene.
Yeah, well, certain places that you used to, Sun Donuts on William Cannon, their 24-hour taco donut kolache place. Used to go there after partying all night, go there at like 3 in the morning and eat tacos.
What's it like party scene in Austin?
It was pretty. I mean, I used to just go downtown all the time because I had my bars and clubs that I like to go to, and then I had clubs where I'd do the neon for, where I could get in for free and see live music for free. And I love music, and I used to play in bands here in town when I was younger, and I just like seeing music.
What instrument do you play?
I started with piano and bass because I wanted to be Geddy Lee from Rush, and then I play guitar now. I have a music room in my house, but it's just for screwing around. But one day, my dream is to do a death metal boy band, like if Slayer met the Backstreet Boys kind of thing, and do like one huge show in Austin, like costumes, theatrical backgrounds, backup dancers, all kinds of stuff, kabuki theater, all kinds of crap. You know, kaiju fights in the background, knights, sorcerers, wizards, all kinds of stuff, and just do one huge show. It'd be my last hurrah.
I don't know
for
what
music.
to watch.
Yeah, I want it to be like too much. That's my theme. My aesthetic is too much crap to look at. Like everywhere I've ever lived. Even when I was in the circus, if we spent more than like 3 days somewhere, I would just start cutting up magazines and hanging up stuff to make a place more mine.
And that's why this place looks like.
Yeah, I probably once I had my table built, then I started decorating. First shop was in Manor, Texas, inside another sign shop. I was inside a sign shop, so basically like an in-house vendor where they did everything except neon, and I just did neon. So I could do their stuff, but I could also do my own stuff too. And I moved with them. They moved 3 times. I moved with them, and then I went back to my garage for a little while, and then I moved to another space. I was a supervisor in the neon shop, and then when the guy shut it, I don't know if I guess I quit or got fired. Who knows? But then he stopped doing neon because they couldn't live without me, and so we took over that shop, and then the work that we did that when COVID happened, I moved into a space with 2 other neon shops. So it was 3 neon shops in one spot. We had areas that we had that were our own, and then areas that we shared together. And we did that all through COVID, just to save money, because we all split the rent 3 ways, split everything 3 ways.
Was it a drama?
At the end, it was terrible. Yeah, one of the guys turned out to be like a super racist jerk, and we all hated him.
We
Not
all
just.
agree.
Yeah, like, not just the other guys that I rented space with, but like everyone I've ever, they're like, oh, that guy's such a jerk. Yeah. If I wanted to hear a white guy say the N-word all day long, I could just listen to like rap music.
You can create like music for sure.
Yeah.
What is it about the neon that makes it the most expressive in signage?
I don't know if it's the most, my favorite thing about neon is you're basically, you have linear light, so you can spell anything that's a line drawing, you can turn into neon. And the cool thing about neon is every single piece of neon on planet Earth was made by hand. There's never been any computers or robots that have ever made neon. So no matter what neon you're looking at, where it is, if you're in Thailand or Chicago or Brazil, every piece of neon has been made by human hands. And I like that. And I like, if you have a business where you're promoting something that's made by human hands too, like food, or ceramics, or whatever, or furniture. Don't you want your signage to kind of convey the fact that everything around here is made by human hands, and that's what makes it better than anything else? I mean, I feel like when you make something with your hands, there's part of you goes into everything you make, as opposed to things that are just mass produced.
Gotcha.
And it's still fairly efficient to use neon. It's not that expensive. It's expensive maybe to have it made. But once it's made, as long as it doesn't break, to operate neon is still very cheap. It doesn't use a lot of energy.
How about the disasters, like the hurricane, the tornado, or
Mostly all
winds, high winds?
Wind's not so much. But the only problems we have here in Texas is hail.
Oh, the hail.
So usually after a hailstorm, I know I'm going to get a good amount of work in to have to repair stuff.
So you're ready for that?
Yeah, I don't mind hail. Hail just means a good month.
Okay. I love that. You turn the difficulty into...
Yeah. I mean, it's other people's, like, some people's woes is another person's fortune.
That's why it's like, how do you, keep yourself positive?
Right. But I try and work with people too. I know I'm not the most expensive in Austin, but I'm probably not the cheapest either. But I feel like if anyone describes me, the worst characteristic is maybe that I'm slow. But that's part of that's just because I'm getting old, and also just I like everything to be perfect. If I'm making a unit and I look at it, I go, I don't like it. I chuck it and I start over again. I make it until it's perfect to me.
So for your son, everything has to be perfect.
Perfect to me.
To
Maybe
you.
not perfect to everybody, but perfect to me.